Hello everyone, today I'm going to demonstrate and explain the codes in my Prelim laboratory hands-on exam for our IPTC311. This is a simple terminal patient information system using again Python. This system is divided into 6 separate parts, but it runs as a one whole program. So let's begin with the first part before I run it later. First one is just a print statement with the patient information system. The line 2 just prints a new line statement for formatting purposes so that the output won't look cluttered in the terminal. The line 6 of the system is a variable patient ID. This accepts input for the ID for the patient or the user. The second variable here accepts the input for the patient name. The third variable here is an age that accepts integer values for the user's age. The fourth variable here is a room type, and it accepts a string for the type of room that the user or patient uses. The next variable here is days of stay. It counts the number of stay, and it accepts an integer input for the numbers of stay of the patient or the user. The next one is a lab test variable. It accepts again integer value input for the number of lab tests of the user or patient. Next one is a medicine fee variable, but now it accepts float values because again with monies we use floating numbers, not just one whole number. The user should enter the medication cost here. This one, operation needed variable, it accepts a character, either yes or no, if the user or patient needs an operation. That's the first part of the system. And this is the second part of the system, this one. Now this is the vitals, just prints new line, again for formatting purposes, prints vitals to clearly separate it in the terminal. We have here temperature variable, accepts float inputs for the user's temperature, systolic BP variable, and it accepts integer inputs. Users should input their systolic BP, diastolic BP variable, this one integer input. User should enter their diastolic BP. Heart rate variable accepts integer input. Users should enter their beats per minute here. Again, new line for formatting. Part 3 of the system. We compute here the room rate, the user or the patient. Here, we use a condition in order to evaluate the cost of to evaluate the cost per room. For example, this one, if room type is equals to ward, this room type is the variable that we declared earlier. Here, room type. Depending on the input of the user, this part of the system will then evaluate how much per room or how much the room will cost. If the room type is equals to ward, room rate will be equals to 500. Else if room type is equals to semi-private, room rate will become equals to 1000. Else if room type is equals to private, room rate will be equals to 2000. Or room rate is equals to ICU, the most expensive one, because again, intensive care unit, room rate is equals to 5000. Else, room rate is equals to 0. The next part of the system, this is the fourth part. This computes additional charges. Laboratory test will start at 1200. Operation fee is 0 because by default we will assume that the patient or customer won't need an operation. That's why we have to ask them first if the customer or patient needs an operation. Hence, that's why we asked them earlier if they needed with Y or N. Here we have if operation needed is equals to yes, the capital yes or the smaller yes, letter Y. Operation fee is equals to 1500. Now for the fifth part of the system, processing and calculations. This part of the system now calculates and processes those inputs from the earlier part of the system. room bill is equals to days of stay times room rate. Lab bill, again, these are all variables being computed and processed. Lab bill is equals to lab test times 1000. Operation bill is equals to operation fee. Subtotal is equals to, this one is a new variable. Subtotal is equals to room bill plus lab bill plus medicine fee plus operation bill. And no, this is still part of the part 5. Now we apply the discounts. If discounts are applicable, print new line for formatting operations or for formatting purposes. Discount rate by default is equals to 0. Now this if condition determines if the user will get a discount. If age is greater or equals to 60, discount rate is equals to 0.20%. Status is equals to 20% senior citizen. Status 2 is equals to senior citizen discount applied. This is used to print them later in the status. Else if subtotal is greater than equals to 1000. Oh no, this is 100,000. Discount rate is equals to 0.15. Status is equals to 15%. High bill discount. Status 2, discount applied. Else if subtotal is greater than or equals to 50,000, discount rate will be equals to 0.10. Status 10% discount. Status 2, discount applied. Or else the default condition, discount rate is equal to 0. Status no discount. Status 2 no discount. And discount is equals to discount rate times 100. Total bill is equals to subtotal minus discount. That ends the computation part for the billing. And for the patient health status, the vital evaluation part, where the user will input their vital status, which is the entire part 6. For the temperature here, we have if temperature is greater than or equals to 80, temperature status will be equals to fever. Else, temperature status is equals to normal temperature. This is the default. For systolic and diastolic calculations, if systolic BP is greater than or equals to 140 or diastolic BP is greater than or equals to 90, blood pressure status is equals to high blood pressure. As if systolic BP is less than or equals to 90 or diastolic BP is less than or equals to 60, blood pressure status is equals to low blood pressure. And for our default else condition, blood pressure status is equals to normal blood pressure. This one, for the heart rate, we have here, if heart rate is less than 60, heart rate status is bradycardia. I'm not sure what this means. Else if heart rate is greater than 100, just ignore my comments here. Heart rate status is equals to tachycardia. Again, I'm not sure what this means. Just search it out. Else, for our default one is heart rate status is equals to normal heart rate. Oh yeah, this is just my comment when I took down the notes. And for the 7th and last part of the system, these are all just input statements or print statements, print statements for the system. It just prints new line for formatting purposes, hospital bill summary, header for a pseudo GUI like look. New line, we print here again we are using the f-string print function for better readability, where we use f here before we use the double quote, string, and the variable that we want to call inside of the print statement. Here we print patient ID, patient name, age, room type, days of stay. These are all the input variables that we used earlier. This is again a print statement for the vital signs. Another print statement using F strings for the temperature, blood pressure, and heart rate. Billing details, print statement, new line, room bills, lab bills, medicine fee, operation fee, subtotal, discount applied, discount amount, total bill. Now we have the final status print here. Print status, new line and status 2. And this one we also have last evaluation. If temperature status is equals not equal to normal temperature, and means both conditions must be true in order for the code block to be executed. Blood pressure status is not equal to normal blood pressure, and heart rate status is not equals to normal heart rate. It will then print patient requires close monitoring due to abnormal vitals. Else, the default one is print patient is normal. You can now discharge the patient. Just ignore this. Just ignore that, please. So let's run the program then. Let's hit run. Let me just expand it here. Enter patient ID. Let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, sorry. Let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Patient name, Tisho, John Doe. Age, say 22. Select room type. Let's just choose ward. Enter days of stay. Let's just say 2. Enter number of lab tests 2. Medicine cost. Let's just use 500. Operation needed. No, I don't think so. Vitals. Let's think. What vitals should I choose? 37. Let's do 37. Systolic BP 88. Diastolic BP 77. Beats per minute 60. Okay, here it goes. After those inputs, the system will then calculate and print all of the necessary informations of the patient. The first one is the hospital bill summary, patient ID. Here are the inputs that we inputted earlier. The vital signs, temperature 37C is equals to normal temperature, blood pressure 88/77, normal heart rate. Heart rate 60, normal heart rate again. And billing details. Room bill is equals to 1,000. Lab bill is equals to 2,400 pesos. Medicine fee 500 pesos. Operation fee 1,500. Subtotal 18,900. Discount applied, no discount. Discount amount 0. Total bill 18,900. And for the status, just have here no discount. Patient is normal. You can discharge the patient now. That's all. Thank you for watching.